Howdy, y'all. I am fixing to go to town, so I thought I would have a little Jeep vlog and let y'all know what I've been up to. So, let's see. Make sure this is off. There we go. All right, so away we go. I'm going to do some grocery shopping. I have completely run out of groceries. Like, there's a few dry goods, but I don't have anything to cook. And I kind of did that on purpose. I've been buying just minimal, what we absolutely need, because I wanted to, when our refrigerator went out, well, it didn't go out, the power went out for a while. And when that happened, I decided I'm going to take everything out of this fridge and clean it really good, and then I'm going to restock. So that's what I did. When the power came back on for a little while, it's been on and off. I cleaned the fridge out really, really good. Spent a couple of hours cleaning that thing out really good, and so yeah, it's all ready. And now I'm going for a big grocery shop. Now that I'm sure the power is on and going to stay on for a little while, uh, I'm going to go stock up. We'll just let this truck go by. So we had big storms last week, a week ago tomorrow, two big tornadoes. One was about 20 miles west of us, and one was about 20 miles south of us. And they did a lot of damage. I think they were classified as EF3, so they were big storms. And so there was a lot of damage and stuff, but we didn't get any. We were very blessed to miss almost all of the high winds and everything. We went out the next day and were cleaning up, and there wasn't even as much downfall as there usually is after a big thunderstorm. So again, this wacky thing I've got here keeps moving on me. So yes, very wonderful luck. Big blessings that we missed the storm missed us, and we didn't get any damage. So that's wonderful. They're having big storms right now in Florida. They're having Hurricane Nicole, I think. Is it Nicole? Or tropical storm or whatever it's classified as. So they're dealing with that. Sorry, I've got the heat on, and I don't need to have it on. It is very warm still here. I assumed after that big storm came through, we would then have a cold front, but it seems like all the warm, moist air from the Gulf is coming up and keeping us warm. So it is still in the upper 70s, lower 80s Fahrenheit for us right now. And so I'm going to town. I'm going to go grocery shopping. I'm wanting to do it like economically. I want to get as much like staples as I can. Uh, but I'm not willing to drive all the way to Texarkana to do it. See, it keeps moving. It keeps moving. Okay. Sorry about that. Um, so yeah, I'm just going to one of the closer, smaller towns, and I'm going to have lunch with a friend, and yeah, just go and do a big shop. Um, when the storm came, I had made us a safe space in our master bedroom closet, and that is like it's a pretty good sized closet. You know, it's a walk-in closet, but it's not huge. And the area in the floor that is available is probably like the size of a full-size mattress, maybe. So we had me and my husband and our five cats in that closet for several hours last Friday night as the big storm came through. And I had prepared, I put us some water and some food and flashlights. And although I didn't really want to use candles in the closet, it just seemed like a fire hazard. I did have us a couple in there, and I brought a book for me to read and some paper and stuff for him to draw, and so that we would have, some cards and stuff. So if we were in there for a long time with no electricity, we could play a hand of cards or read some in a book, or have some way to pass the time. So we sat in there. I think we went in around 10, and neither one of us slept. We stayed several hours. The cats were in and out. We had the door kind of cracked. The cats were in and out. But that's the space that I choose for us to sit in for our safe space, because as a big master closet, it's a room within a room. It's in our master bedroom. And then it's also like sandwiched in between the kitchen, the water heater closet, the master bathroom. And there's like one, two, three, four doorways right around that space. And then also in the closet itself, there's a lot of vertical support from the shelving, because there's shelving all in that closet. So it feels like the most well supported space in the house. So I patted the floor real good with lots of blankets and cushions, and I took anything off the shelves that might fall down and hurt us. And so, yeah. And yesterday I was talking to my good friend Rachel, who has, at the end of last month, well, at the end of September, I think they weathered Ian, and it was horrible and terrifying. And we were exchanging stories about that, and I was asking her good ideas for your safe space, like what do you need? And she was telling me that they had been out of electricity and water for like 11 days. And the item that she most treasured was a combination radio, flashlight, USB port, and it was solar powered and also had a crank on it, so you could crank it for the energy. And I just think that that's a fantastic idea, and I'm going to order us one, maybe even this evening when I get done with what I'm doing, and we're going to have that for Christmas. And while I'm looking, I'm going to get one for my son as well, but I'm going to look for other things that would be handy to have in your safe space when a storm is coming. Because if you live in the United States, you probably have some kind of horrible storm. Like if you live by the ocean, you're going to get the terrible hurricanes. And if you live anywhere else, I guess, you can get tornadoes or terrible blizzards or just any number of awful thunderstorms, powerful winds, and cyclones and stuff. So I think almost everybody, it would be a good idea to have in mind where you're going to go, have your plan, and maybe stock that space with some items that you might need. So if you don't have the early warning, which we are so blessed to get, because if you pay attention, you'll know, if weather is coming, you'll know days in advance that there's going to be a big storm, and then they track it. You can watch on radar. But she said that most of the cell phone service was no good after that big storm, and that many people were relying on the local radio and local radio stations to get in touch with friends and loved ones, and to set up meeting spots, like, if you can hear this, come and meet me at the wherever. And they would put up a big like note board so people could leave notes for each other and stuff. So that seems like a really good idea, to have a radio, because your cell phone might not always work. And in fact, when we were riding out that tornado last weekend, my cell phone didn't want to show me the radar, and it didn't want to play videos. Now, it was working. I could call and text and send and receive calls and texts and photos, but my video, there wasn't enough signal to watch a video or to look at the radar on my weather app. But I was able to be in almost constant contact with my son, who was watching the weather and tracking the storm and telling us where it was and when it had passed us, and it was safe for us to, get out of our closet and go back about our business. But of course, we didn't have power for days after that. But God bless our linemen and hardworking electric workers, and the pole crew and the line crew and all of that. Just God bless them. They're out there in the middle of the worst kind of conditions, making sure everybody can be safe and comfortable. So that's super awesome. And as far as I know, everything's restored, and everybody's back in business. Um, so yeah, the one that was closest to us, which was Idabel, which it takes a little while to get to Idabel, but it's about 20 miles from here as the crow flies, as the storm flies. Uh, but although they had loads of damage, destruction, whole houses, vehicles, businesses just completely demolished, there was no loss of life in that storm. And I haven't heard the numbers on the other side down in Texas in like Sims and New Boston area. I haven't heard the numbers on that, but I don't think that there was a lot of deaths and injuries from this last bout of storms that we had. So that is a wonderful blessing, and I'm very grateful for that. And yeah, so we had our big storm of the season, and actually, I'm kind of glad we had it and it's over with, because the odds are we won't get another one that close for a while. So that's nice. Don't really have to worry about it. And although the weather didn't cool very much like I was hoping it would cool off, um, it is less humid. It's a bit less humid. It's still humid. It's always humid here, unless it's like in the middle of a frozen winter day. It's going to be humid here. But yeah, the storms kind of blew some of the humidity away, and it feels a little fresher and a little cooler, even if it really isn't much. And yeah, so that's about it. Not much else has been going on. That's been the big excitement over the last week, was dealing with post tornado damage, cleanup, and that kind of stuff. And we didn't have a whole lot. We were able to do everything in a day, and we didn't have any damage to our home. So we're very blessed, very grateful. And now, since I like my fridge, there is a big jug of water, a box of wine, and some beer. And that's about it that's in my fridge. There's a few condiments like, ketchup and mustard, mayonnaise, that kind of stuff. But it's completely clean, and I scrubbed it out real good, bleached it out. Freezer too. Nothing in there. There's just ice from the ice maker, and it is completely empty. So I'm looking forward to filling that up, because it always makes me feel a little weird when there's not actually any food in the house to fix. Like, I can't fix a meal. I think the only thing, if I had to go in that kitchen right now and cook something, I could make some salmon patties, because I have 2 cans of salmon, and I have some crackers and some cornmeal. So I could make some pretty good salmon patties. They'd be plain. They wouldn't have any onions and peppers and all that in them, but I've got good seasonings, and I've got some salmon, so I could cook something. But that's it. Like, that is it. I don't have any other, ideas for meals. And we're just about out of everything. So this is going to be a long shop. But I'm looking forward to it, because I really like getting fresh stuff and putting it in a clean fridge. And it's very satisfying to open that fridge and see all wonderful fresh produce and fresh dairy and bright pink fresh meat. And, everything is nice and fresh. Hasn't been frozen yet and defrosted and all of that, or it hadn't sat in the fridge for a couple of days. So it's always, as a cook, it's always very nice to encounter wonderful fresh ingredients and produce. It makes cooking a joy instead of a hassle trying to piece something together out of nothing. I know you know what I mean, when you got almost nothing in the pantry and you're relying on staples, and you're like, oh my gosh, I've got to stock up. So that's me today, stocking up. I probably should go to Texarkana and do a big shop and lay in some canned goods and dry goods and stuff like that. But I'm not trying to spend $500 on groceries right now. I'm going to try and do about half that, and just kind of get what we need for the coming week. I did, stock up my pantry. I cleaned out a big area in my laundry room, and I made a secondary pantry in there and stocked it full of stuff. But I went through that stuff. I didn't go shopping for a little while because we had trouble with our vehicle. So I just kind of cooked out of the pantry, and I went through all that stuff and there was hardly anything left. So I just moved it all back up to the front pantry, and I haven't restocked like that again. So I'm going to need to do that, because that's very nice to have, your emergency supplies, or just, if you don't feel like running to the store, you can make do. But anyhow, I'm fixing to get in some traffic here. I'm coming into the town, so I guess I will let you guys go. Um, but I just wanted to let everybody know that we weathered the storm okay. If you've noticed that we had some tremendous weather in my area, the Arklatex area, then you can rest assured that me and mine are well and fine. So thanks, and I'm glad you joined me for this little trip, and I will talk to you soon. But until then, y'all be sweet.